Welcome to Spirit Behind the Screen. Each episode, your host, Marty McCurdy, deep dives on industry trends around high reliability electronics and the supply chain in aerospace and defense. This is episode 14 with Marco Paolucci about ELES reliability embedded test engineering capabilities.
Good morning. This is Marty McCurdy with Spirit Electronics and our podcast Behind the Scenes. Today, I'm absolutely thrilled to have with us Marco Paolucci from ELES. He is the Director of Business Development for Aerospace and Defense, both in Europe and in the U.S. Marco, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Marty. Happy to be here. And good morning to everyone.
Good morning, although I do believe it's very good evening to you on your side of the ocean.
Yeah, we have a 9-hour ahead.
Gotcha. Well, I really appreciate you jumping on. I wanted to touch base with you today and discuss the ELES approach to burn-in and what we're doing in the U.S. market, and maybe help our listeners understand how ELES plays in the aerospace and defense side of it, and really just maybe what is on the roadmap and technology and advancements within ELES that is public to share.
Okay. We see that in the last 2 years, an evolution of the needs of the market from reliability. Then burn-in is, let's say, the main goal is to detect possible weak devices and, let's say, sort them. What we do here in ELES is we propose to our clients a new methodology that we call RETE. RETE, which is the reliability embedded test engineering. In Italian, RETE means net. Then put in communication, cooperation. So because we saw that sometimes reliability test compared to the test on ATE is something like that is on a side, no, is something like something less important. But actually, the new needs in the market actually are bringing the reliability a much higher level. Because if we think just a few years ago, some fault on electronic equipment was more mainly something that annoyed. Today is becoming very critical. If we think to the let's say mission critical application, automotive, aerospace, and defense, failure can be very dangerous. For example, in autonomous driving and whatever. So here at ELES, we let's say develop a methodology, RETE, that should help our customer to to guarantee a better reliability of device and provide effective support to reach zero defect. So ELES is, let's say, offered to the market not only the test platform, which is a part of our business, but we used to say that it is just a part of the offer. But the very add value that we try to offer is a daily support, developing this program board and providing service, offering to the customer all of our let's say experience that we collected more than 30 years doing in reliability market to reach, let's say, the needed reliability of the devices.
Yeah, I like to hear that. As you and I have discussed many times, the play that Spirit has within this aerospace and defense market is that we're an authorized distributor for some pretty hefty FPGAs from Xilinx and our TI, Texas Instruments lines, and Micron for our memory, and some very other big heavy hitters. And really the plan was always to fill the bill of materials around that Xilinx device, and that's kind of what we've done. And when we look at that, we know from years of experiences like you is that the industry is always looking to do additional PEMS quals or up screening of these devices, even though they're already maybe mill grade or space grade even, or rad hard, they just still want to touch it some more. So I think the ELES test platform that is on the marketplace with you offers some very interesting configurations, if you will, on how to approach these PEM quals. And I think that's the conversation you and I have had to kind of join forces to see what we can do in the U.S. market in order to address that. So I'd like to, if you could indulge me, just talk a little bit about how the ELES test platforms, you have a development station, you have a qual and reliability test bench, because we're, on our side of the coin, we are heavy on the Advantest 93Ks, and so we always need this burn-in side of it, but your test platforms bridges that gap a little bit more than most chambers. If you could kind of explain that to us a little bit.
Yeah. Our solutions in terms of products are, first of all, have to guarantee what is required to burn in. And so is the stress. Now, the goal of the reliability test is to apply the right stress on the device to, let's say, be able to trigger all possible failures due to the weakness of the device itself. So we have, first of all, a portfolio of configuration of our test platform, which is universal. So the same test platform can test from memory to system on a chip to MEMS or up to LED, for example. We have customers with the same platform test also the LED. And the goal is, first of all, to satisfy all the basic needs of such kind of test. So apply the right stress, the right temperature, to guarantee that we are applying the wanted stress condition. But what we offer more, and that we try to add is not only to trigger the failure, but it's also the capability to intercept the failure in real time. Because if we stress the failure, stress a device for 168 hours or whatever, and then we go on testing step, we saw that something happened. Maybe we detect a failure, but we don't know when, if there was some parameter that start drifting. So we have not maybe a lot of information about the failure itself and why it have been activated. In our approach, we foresee to perform both stress and test in the same test platform, so that in case we trigger some failure came up, we can say exactly when it took place, in which condition of stress, if there was any parameter that drifted before. So the goal is to offer to the customer also not only it pass or let's say pass and fail, but also what we call learn from fail. So learn when it happened, in which condition, and provide. So the value of our approach is the information that we are able to put available to the customer, to also to improve the design, the manufacturing process and whatever. Of course, the first step, we need to be able to activate and help to sort the device, so intercept of weak devices to avoid that they finish on the market, or so they can be removed in advance. But the added value is also to give information that give the customer the possibility to manufacture device without failure, that do not generate failure. The goal is also, sometimes there are failures that are triggered during the stress, but when pass after a few hours, when you move on the tester, such kind of some failure can recover, and then you cannot detect. So there is a weakness that you never detect. And our goal is to try to give the possibility also to intercept also such kind of failures.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, in our world, I think you and I have had this discussion, but we'll share it a little bit with our listeners. Is that the aerospace and defense industry has a little bit of a margin for error. So out of so many units, we can have a failure where, let's say, for example, in the automotive industry, there's zero failures. So I think there's a lot to be learned there. So in your approach to burn-in, what I believe you're kind of saying is that you have the ability to truly characterize the failure, right? So it isn't just that the part failed. You have the ability to understand, at what point and why. And I think that in our reliability work here at Spirit, we always have been looking for the elusive, why did it fail? And a lot of times that comes right prior to failure, or the events that lead up to the point of failure. It's always good to monitor and manage those things. So
Right.
I think that's one of the very specific highlights of the ELES line of products.
What I like to give an example. No, I like to describe our system like, let's say, on the tester, you have a picture of the device, very high definition picture, but is, let me say, static. I mean, the test on the ATE take a few seconds. The tester on reliability system take hours, days, and then I like to, let's say, represent this like a very high definition picture that you get on the tester and on the ATE, and a movie where you have a lower definition, but you have not a static image of your device, but you have a movie about the life of your device.
Yeah,
and then,
exactly. Yep, continue.
No. And then you have the possibility to let's say, if you have a failure, you are not just an information, but you have a set of information regarding what happened, the reason, and that also is very helpful for failure analysis, because you provide to the team a higher number of information that can be useful to short the failure analysis, to address exactly the problem in advance without maybe saving days, weeks of the analysis. Also, for example, we can, when we get a failure on the device, we can unselect and then avoid to stress again, because sometimes when a device at the end of the stress go to the failure analysis is, let me say, destroyed, so is even much more difficult to make a deeper failure, the failure analysis. We can, with our test platform, we can unselect the device, stop stressing, and then give a device where the failure analysis is much more easy.
Yeah, we like the approach for sure. There's always the dynamic side of it that the more data we have, the better. I always look at it, I always have this statement that it's for our customer base is, how much insurance do you want? Do you want that pass-fail, which is kind of minimum insurance, or do you want that high-level characterization? We know exactly where and why it failed, and possibly does that affect our application-specific use of the part, et cetera. So we really appreciate ELES's approach to that. I know that you have other areas that you're strong in. Do you want to touch a little bit on the same approach? I believe your motto is the highway to zero defects. So that kind of leads us into that automotive spec. Are you seeing, especially since we have some strong automotive companies coming out of Europe, obviously, do you have a lot of entrenchment there in the the Audis, the BMWs, Ferraris, maybe, that you could give us a fun story?
No, what I can say is that that I like to highlight here is that we are experiencing an evolution of our, let's say, customer target, because the same test platform that we use for device test, we starting to make experience of the system level test. So not only the device itself on a burning board, but the device in its working environment on the final, in the, let's say, application board. And this drove us also to bring and to, let's say, expand our target market, not only to semiconductor manufacturer, but also to tier one players and because we can apply the same approach not only at device level, but we can also bring such approach also ECU level, I mean electronic control unit, or generic, let's say more in general, to electronic board. So this is very exciting because we are having new experience on this new, let's say, market. Just also a couple of weeks ago, we have been we've been in contact with potential customers that are very interested to this solution that we experienced in the past already, but from tier one is a new exciting market that we are exploring, and then we are bringing our solutions.
Yeah, that it is exciting. I know that from our perspective with the test lab here and our Verigy 93Ks, we find exactly the same thing. The industry is moving toward, we use the same language, system level test, because honestly the component level for a commercial application, let's say the Apples, the Googles, Tesla, these folks that are moving at a much faster pace than the aerospace and defense markets, they need a system level test simply because they want to be able to get more product out in a faster qualification, et cetera. So we see the system level test coming into play so much so that our VP of Business Development, Mr. Zef Malik, has designed an 8-position system level tester similar to a handler for trays in our business, so that our big Verigys can handle the system level test on an 8-up position. So we're in line there as well, because we do see that's the way the industry is going. And it really ties in well with the roadmap for Spirit, because we are just finishing out the last part of our building, and we are bringing in our contract manufacturers. So it really is going to be this complete turnkey where our customer base has the option to purchase from an authorized distributor the high-end components that they usually upscreen, and we can upscreen those here under our umbrella, then obviously offer them all the screening, qualification, burn-in test with some of the ELES equipment that we're investing in, and then also take all of those components, go to the contract manufacturer that's in our facility, have the board assembled, and then go to system level test at that point and produce an end product for the customer as really a one-stop shop versus maybe 7 to 9 or 10 different, individual suppliers that they'd have to go to. So that's kind of our roadmap, and it's great to hear that, that ELES is in that same mindset.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this cooperation, and because we are addressing a challenging market, and I think we have a good solution, and that we can succeed together. ELES is, as I said before, not only offer a test platform, but also a lot of experience. We have a team of 30 engineers that every day are fully dedicated to develop test program, design burning board, to offer to the customer such kind of approach for reliability test in order to provide, let's say, 360-degree support. We want that our customers can be concentrated on their job, on analyze the result, because to the stuff, ELES can do the setup of test for them. ELES and the Spirit together here.
Yeah, we agree. I think it's a very complete offering for sure. I wanted to touch on one thing. I know this is some concerns of the U.S. market for sure, just because we don't have the same kind of power usage you do, and I think you and I have addressed this. But just for our audience, if you wouldn't mind indulging me, and I'm in the throes of doing the power conversion at my building right now, so it's probably hot on my mind and my pocketbook, by the way. The ELES equipment is coming out of Italy is 480. Is that correct, or is it 440? I'm sorry, I can't remember. And
okay.
Yeah. And your ability to manage either 220 or 208 three-phase for the U.S. market, that is already in place. If you could maybe just share a little bit of those thoughts just to alleviate any of the facility maintenance or investment that would have to go on to bring an ELES burn-in chamber into a facility here in the U.S.
Yeah, we have all our system are double, let's say, can be configured for European or East market, which is a typical CE, or we have the UL standard. We fulfill the UL standard for US market. In this case, typically the configuration of our supply is for the voltage is 480 three phases, but we can also add a module to be compatible for the 208 voltages. Yeah.
Yep. Great. Good. It's good to hear. Lovely.
Yeah.
Well, Marco, I appreciate your time today. I know our listeners always have an attention span of about 15 to 20 minutes, and I think we're approaching that. So are there any closing comments from your side of the ocean?
I would like to, first of all, thank you for this opportunity to talk about our solutions, and I'm happy to start this, to follow on with this cooperation with the Spirit, because I strongly believe that we can succeed together on the aerospace and defense market. I think we have very interesting solutions. We can offer a real value to a Spirit customer on the capability to have to select a very high reliability device for their application.
We agree. We look forward to the relationship getting kicked off here shortly, and we'll make our announcements kind of in detail as we continue. So thank you so much, Marco. Please have a great weekend over there, and we'll be in touch.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Have a great weekend, you too.
Thanks for listening with Spirit this week. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast to let us know what you want to hear about in aerospace and defense. You can find out more about Spirit's value-added services and product lines at spiritelectronics.com.